In today's economy, now is the worst time to be getting into credit card debt. When we have so much job uncertainty, inflation going through the roof, the war in Iran with gas prices now skyrocketing and energy prices are going up. The cost of basic things are going up, from groceries to gas to things of that nature. And one thing that people still struggle with, and to me this is a reason why people are struggling, is because of credit card debt. That debt in particular will ruin people's finances. Now, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with using a credit card, but it becomes a problem when we carry a balance from month to month. Guys, I looked this up on Google just now. 47 to 50% of Americans have reported of carrying a balance over from month to month. Meaning that as soon as you carry a balance, you're going to have to pay more money, called interest. And interest rates on a credit card could range anywhere from 20 to 30%. Guys, sometimes your investments don't even return 20 to 30%. The S&P 500 annually over the past 5 to 10 years has returned 10%. So that means you're losing negative 10 to 20%. Because on one end, you got investments going up 10%, but your credit card debt keeps going up 20%. So we need to get rid of high interest debt, guys. Like me, I don't even have a credit card. Well, I do, but it's not a traditional credit card that carries interest. I'm on the credit cards where it's safe to use, stuff like that. Cause I don't really like all these credit cards, cause especially you shouldn't be using a credit card if you spend a lot of money. Here's one rule that I have for credit cards. If you can't afford to make the purchase outright, don't make it at all. If you don't have the money in the moment to buy it, don't buy it at all. Save your money. In this economy, saving money is more paramount, more than ever. You could be laid off your job just like that. Your car could break down just like that. An emergency could come up just like that. Rather than saving for things that we want, we should just put up for a rainy day. That should be the first thing that Americans should have, their top priority. Anybody will tell you that you need to save for a rainy day, because life can happen at any moment. And it happens when you least expect it to. When you were planning on driving your car, you weren't planning on it to break down or for it to have a problem or a malfunction. But it just happened out of nowhere. So in the event where things happen, you gotta still have money available. Your emergency fund should be 3 to 6 months of living expenses, but in this economy, I'd argue 9 to 12. Because it's so hard to find a job nowadays. Companies aren't hiring, and job layoffs are, and employers are cutting more and more jobs. And to me, when you have credit card debt, or even you have debt in general, and guys, one debt that also you guys need to stay away from, if you guys need it, all right, we'll make an exception, but you have to keep it low. It's car notes. Guys, we have got to stop giving these dealerships or these banks free money and interest. You do realize the longer you finance your car for, the more interest you're gonna have to pay. So you guys can't finance a car for no more than 3 years because cars depreciate in value quickly. As soon as you drive it off the lot, some people say it loses $2,000 to $3,000 in value. And the more you finance a car for, the more you risk having negative equity. And what I mean by negative equity is where you owe more on the car than its original value. For example, let's say you have a remaining balance of $10,000, but the car is only worth $5,000. The negative equity is $5,000. And $5,000, that's a lot of dollars. That's an emergency fund for some people if they don't have a lot of financial obligations and they're just starting out. So, and I feel like a lot of people, well, this is for majority of people, you're not broke. You're not. You're just in debt. You have credit card debt. You have personal loan debt. But credit card debt is what I want to focus on today. But debt all across. Debt is what's keeping you up at night. Debt is what's keeping you from investing. Debt. Because you spend more money. You spend more than you earn. You need to establish living below your means. You need to set a budget. Good debt can quickly turn to bad debt. People think car notes are bad, are good debt, considered good debt. Meanwhile, you do need transportation, but you just need something reliable. If a car breaks down, just get it fixed. One thing I don't understand is why people, they rather trade in a car that has a few issues, they rather get a car note than work on a car that has just a few issues, because would you rather have a car that breaks down? When I say break down, like regular maintenance, like a little something happened to it, like an oil change, or like it's a little problem in it, or have a $749 car payment. If you ask me, I'll take the repair, because to me, that's where the peace of mind is. Because if it breaks down, I'll pay to get it fixed, And especially if the car has a good track record, especially if the car is good on mileage and it gets me from point A to point B with no problems. Car problems are going to happen. That's just in general. They get old, they break down, people drive it, and they get used. That happens with anything. But we can't keep financing cars for such a long term. And we can't keep getting into these high month payments, $500-$600 a month. You do realize that you could take that $500 and $600 a month and invest that into your Roth IRA, into the S&P 500. Guys, you do realize that if you invest $625 a month for a whole year, you will max out your Roth IRA. Quick tip, whenever you're doing a Roth IRA, you need to actually buy investments. You need to actually buy index funds. Don't just have your money sit in a Roth IRA, but you need to actively be buying investments, buying mutual funds and stuff like that. buying index fund and stuff like that is already discussed. The things that I buy, the things that work for me are VTI, Nasdaq, and the S&P 500. The S&P 500 tracks the 500 biggest companies across the United States. The Nasdaq tracks the top 100 biggest tech companies. And VTI just tracks everything. So when it's VTI, think of just think of the whole stock market as a whole in the United States. That's what I invest in. Because people always talk about how life is hard, life is hard, life is hard. Some people, I ask them why, what's going on, and they tell me the same thing. Credit card debt. You do realize that credit card debt is one of the most dangerous debts that you can have. My thing is, I don't like credit cards because the interest is too much, and I'd rather just use a debit card to pay for things in the moment. You know what I mean? Because that means that I'm using my own money, and I have the money to pay for it, so I don't risk going into debt. Well, I do have a credit card, but they're secured, meaning I fund them, meaning I fund the credit cards. Secured credit cards meaning you decide how much you want to put on there, and that's your limit. Versus with a traditional credit card that gets issued from a bank, they decide the limit. And me, it's just like, And also my philosophy is, I don't like loaning money for the same way I don't like people loaning me money. I'd rather use my own money to make more money and to pay for things in the moment. Like, you guys realize that debt is also not good for your credit score at all. Because let's say you want to access a better loan in the future, if you do want to take out a car loan or a mortgage, and you want a super low interest rate, how you going to do that if you got credit card debt? You keep carrying a balance order from month to month to month. You do realize if you miss a payment, your credit score is going to take a huge dip. And at times, it can be really tough to recover from. When people don't have financial literacy, it costs them so much money. And it ends up stressing them out. Money stress is the worst type of stress you can have, because it starts to affect your relationships, start to affect you emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even physically. And some people have anxiety from money stress. I know people who have anxiety from money stress. There's somebody who I used to talk to a little bit. We was cool, just friends, nothing too crazy. They will always talk about how this money is stressing me out, how credit card debt is stressing me out. And they just couldn't take it, and they didn't know what to do. I gave them a few solutions, but they didn't take it because they didn't want to put forth the effort to make anything happen. You can't keep complaining about it too. In this economy, you can't keep complaining. Life is 10% what happens to you, 90% what you do about it. We're all living in an economy that's basically tough right now. Stock's been losing for 5 straight weeks. Jobs still been staying the same pretty much. Or some cuts have been happening. Some people been getting laid off. And other things of that nature with gas prices. But we gotta do what we gotta do. We gotta stay out of debt. We gotta set a budget. Because guys, I want you guys to understand this. You guys have so much control over your money. You don't even realize it. And you don't realize it is because of debt. Because as soon as you get your paycheck, you're making payments on everything. You're using buy now, pay later apps just to finance things. And with Klarna, the thing is, it tricks people. Oh, you have 0% interest, but guess what? It can be tough to keep up. So my thing is, if you don't have the money now, then why would you bother spending it? Cause you risk yourself getting into debt. And with money, my dad always taught me this. You always gotta play the long game. Because financial decisions that you make today will impact your financial life tomorrow, the next day, and the day after, and from years to come. Sometimes even for generations. So yeah, guys, just stay out of credit card debt. Because credit card debt is the worst type of debt you can have. So many people are stressed. So many people are stressed. So many people are struggling financially. We got over 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, $70,000 in credit card debt. And now with that, that's leading people into tapping into their 401ks early just to cover basic needs because they got debt and because cost of living is rising. Guys, when cost of living is going up, you don't want to get into debt. You want to cut back your spending. Right now is the time to cut back. I'm not saying that you guys shouldn't spend any money. Still live your life, still enjoy life. But you guys shouldn't be getting into debt. If you don't have the money now, don't pay it. Don't make the purchase. Just wait till you get the money. And if you still want it, then buy it. But just stay out of debt. Because I'm telling you, credit card debt is one of the biggest wealth killers in America. In my opinion, it's credit card debt, then cars. But you know, that could be interchangeable. Because with cars, car repossessions have gone up. And to me, I'm not paying $500 to $600 a month just for a car payment because you got insurance, you got other stuff too, and these insurance, these monthly insurance premiums and stuff, yeah, it's not cheap. You're gonna end up spending close to $1,000 just on transportation before you even got to gas. So just stay out of debt and get financially literate. Because choices that we make today will always impact our lives tomorrow. Stay blessed.